Hey everybody, Mr. Honahan again, and in this video tutorial we're going to take a look at our nutrient intake analysis page. And we're first going to start in our Google Docs. And if you remember, we invited you to a nutrition intake analysis template, which you did file, made a copy of it, and you called it your last name, so it was MPW Nutrition Intake Analysis with your last name. We have basically a blank spreadsheet here. And the trick is we're going to put our data from a picture, which I'll show you in a second, into this. But in order to do this correctly, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to ask that you delete each of these charts. And if you click on the right hand side, right next to the chart, we're just going to delete each one of these. It's going to give you a heads up. You're going to hit OK, and you're going to keep doing that. We're just deleting the chart for our purposes here. And you're going to do it 4 times for each of the charts that are there. And we should be just about done. Great. Alright, so that just leaves us with the spreadsheet information. You can see chart 1, chart 2, chart 3, and chart 4. And what you're going to do now is you're going to use your data from your nutrient intake that you took a screenshot of, and we're going to type in the information from the screenshot. If you remember, we went to My Pyramid Tracker and we took a screenshot of our nutrient intake, and this had all those numbers. Now I want to make a quick comment here. If you see in the recommended or acceptable range column, you're going to see some numbers with less than or a range, especially when you look at sodium and when you look at total fat. For this chart, we're going to ask that you put the higher of the numbers into your recommended columns because we want to get a bar graph. Again, I want to make that clear. If it says less than 13.4, you're going to put 13.4 into your particular chart. So you're going to look at your intake. So my intake for protein was 77, and that was grams. And the recommended for me was 56 grams. And you're going to do that for your entire chart. Okay, so when you're done with that, in order to insert a chart into this spreadsheet, you're going to highlight from chart 1 all the way down to the right hand corner, and you see I've got all the aspects in chart 1. I'm going to come up to the toolbar, and where it says insert, I'm going to scroll down to chart, and I have a bunch of different things I can do here as far as selection of chart types, and we want a bar graph for this one. So again, I'm looking at chart 1 is going to be graphing these particular things. I'm going to hit insert. So far that looks pretty good. But I don't want to put it on top of my data. I'm going to click back on the chart, and you can see right next to the chart name, I'm going to click on the little down arrow. I'm going to move to own sheet. Okay? You're going to do that for each one of your data sets. So for nutrient intake, you're going to highlight the same thing, and you're going to get chart 2. You're going to go back to nutrient intake, you're going to highlight chart 3, and you're going to make another chart there with the insert. And last but not least, you're going to highlight for chart number 4, insert chart, and that'll give you this. Okay, so now you have the 4 charts with your data set. And the last step in this tutorial is we're going to go back to our nutrient intake analysis page. We're going to edit this page, and now we're going to insert this nutrient intake analysis spreadsheet with the charts that we just created. So you guessed it, we're going to click on insert, spreadsheet. I'm going to look for the one that I worked on. I think it's this one. Hit select. I'm going to leave the width as wide. I want the spreadsheet as view as spreadsheet. I'm going to hit save, and let's hit save again, and then there you go. So now on this nutrient intake analysis page of your website, you have a spreadsheet that has the data sets with your intake and the recommended intake from My Pyramid Tracker, and each chart actually has a bar graph that you can now start to analyze. And you would see your intake versus what was recommended. For each chart 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you notice since the numbers and ranges are a little bit bigger, it may not fit, but we always have a scroll bar off to the right. Okay, that's it for this particular video. Thanks for listening.